Thank you for joining us. Clearly, our top focus, the air quality in the national capital, in fact, continues to be in the very poor category, with AQI at 340 today and is likely to worsen around the Diwali. Now, amid the ongoing blame game between the Aam Aadmi Party and BJP over Delhi's pollution crisis, Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena wrote to Chief Minister Atishi criticizing her for offering no solutions to the pollution problem. Now, he wrote, road dust is the largest contributor to air pollution and suggested that it would be appropriate if AAP first sets their house in order before blaming others or asking for their help. We'll continue to tell you more on that, but let me straight away go across to my colleague Kritika, who I understand is reporting from Akshardham. In fact, Kritika, very good morning to you. The reality of this situation is this is the tip of the iceberg. You're out reporting there, you're all masked up, and you're, of course, going to take us to the numbers. But even for someone like me, I'm already, bearing the brunt of it, having exposed myself to this hazardous air, whether it's an itchy throat, you have a burning eye sensation, and this is absolutely unfortunate, considering the fact that we're also looking at a blame game here, which was unexpected lines. But the bigger question is, when are we actually going to see that on-ground situation change, especially with all age groups being affected? And this is right ahead of Diwali, which only means the situation is going to get worse about 10 days from now.
Well, absolutely. In fact, the Supreme Court also in their hearing yesterday noted how it's the right of every citizen to live in a toxic air-free environment. In fact, not providing clean air is a violation of Article 21. So it's not just that the Supreme Court's hearing does come at a very important time. This is, remember, when it's still a little before the peak of the stubble burning season as well as the onset of both Diwali and winters, which has for years shown us how it contributes in further deteriorating air quality. Now, what we are also learning is that while today the levels are slightly better than what we experienced yesterday, I'll also give you a sense of that by showing you the visuals of the Akshardham temple. Remember, when we were reporting from here yesterday, all the high-rises behind the temple towards the Mayur Vihar side, even they weren't visible. This morning, that is very much in the line of visibility. Despite that, there is still a lot of haze that has still engulfed the national capital. It is, yes, slightly lesser than yesterday, but that in itself cannot mean that any sort of, that just does not point out towards the working out of policies on ground. This is meteorological factors that contribute to it. However, on the ground, we still see violations continue, even as the Supreme Court yesterday pointed out that in the case of stubble burning specifically, they've seen how in states where there are over 1,000 cases of stubble fire burning instances recorded, only about 400, 500 farmers are penalized. So the selective action and the nominal penalization charges also that are being levied in cases of such violations also tends to say that you can get away with it, that there again we are not working towards a sustainable solution. And this is one of the reasons why day after day we see our air quality deteriorate. And definitely, as and when people keep on exposing themselves to this environment, because remember, commute to work is not going to stop. Schools will not be closed for children. So their health day by day is going to get affected, because this is a fact that the air has become way more toxic, specifically around this season.
Absolutely, and toxic is the key word here, because what's also happening otherwise is toxic political bickering. And the reason why I repeat that we're looking at this situation every year is frustrating. I mean, imagine, you're in a situation where there's nothing that you can do about it. Even though there are policies in place, two political parties are bickering. But the bigger question is, why is there no accountability when we know what we're getting into?
That's absolutely right. I mean, every time we bring in how the central government as well as the state government, the other states in the NCR region, also have to take a collective effort towards making sure that the residents in the NCR area breathe in cleaner air. What in fact we hear back are states picking and choosing. If it is the Aam Aadmi Party, they will put the blame on Uttar Pradesh and the state of Haryana. If it is the BJP, they will definitely bring in the increasing farm fire cases in Punjab. Now, as residents, we see the Aam Aadmi Party try to pull out some policy with the BJP again attacking them, as we saw yesterday. The L-G pointing out how dust pollution is also a great issue. Now, dust pollution is not something that just stems up around October end or in November and December. This is a continuous problem which requires continuous tending to. But again and again, we see whether it is because of funds crunches or because of the clash of political interests, a lot of action on ground is never translated, and it is in fact very frustrating, as you said, for citizens of these regions, because remember, in just a few days, not just the air of Delhi but also greatly of the entire NCR region, as well as the larger northern plains also in fact, will be inadequately affected, and more and more residents will come under the gambit of a poor air quality. So year after year we see this political blame game, as you were saying, the toxic political blame game in fact. But none of this results in actionable steps that can actually help residents maybe live 2 or 3 more weeks of cleaner air, that as well.